As soon as I entered the store and saw this saber so long, so narrow, I said, Paolo, I have to try this front, and Paolo told me, but look, it's from a wing. Where are you going? Yes, Paolo, but I have to try it on the wing because I have to tell my guys how the momentum is with the wing. Welcome back to the channel. How are you? I'm Gabriel, and I really can't wait to tell you about this new foil of the phone awaited by everyone, the momentum. Let's build momentum to talk about it. It's an obvious cold, but it's there. Well, it really is a saber. The momentum arises above all for downwind. If we look at the images of F1, we don't find images and videos of people using it with the wing. I wanted to put it to the test with the wing to understand what forces are at play and if it can be useful in certain conditions in our Mediterranean Sea. Well, there were some surprises, but let's talk first about this foil of its materials. The material used is a high modulus carbon, and it is quite obvious for a foil with such a large windspan. The finishes are obviously the classics of F1. It is really a nice object to see. The stabilizer also made of high modulus carbon, and I paired it with a 14 millimeter F1 column. So a little thinner. I don't know if it's 85. I don't know if it's the right choice for this front, but maybe we'll talk about it later. Obviously, the tower is a high module. It is the top of the range of F1, and it really is an important tower. Let's talk about the shape of this front. Aspect ratio 16.5 is scary, the rope is minimal, and the wingspan is really wide. This reduced rope ensures that you have a bit of handling and speed. As much as possible, while the WIR spam so high really guarantees to have an excellent pumping efficiency even in the starting phase. With a 9/16 impediment 2, I got up very early, obviously with a good pumping technique because the surface is what it is. However, we are always talking about 900 centimeter 2, so it shoots us high, but then the foil has to be worked, and it works very well. It responds very well to our leg movement because it was born precisely for that, so it also becomes a little technical. The design is ultra stable precisely to try to be comfortable in a slightly faster pace. They succeeded, they failed. We find out later in my feelings in the water. But that's the idea. You have to see what you think. What do you think of the idea of speed? One con is the speed we produce in downwind with only our leg strength and therefore with the energy of the sea and wave legs. And a con is the speed we produce with the wing, where we have a different force. We'll talk about that later. This wingspan so high. It gives us a crazy glide, and then you have the ability to really connect one wave to another, almost to leave one wave and only with your legs go and get another. The guys from Cow already have the momentum available, and so if you want to go to the store, you can touch it with your hand. And I recommend you do it because it is a really beautiful and particular object. And of course, you can also have the opportunity to try it. And Paulina will definitely give you the best price possible to be able to take it home. So call him Disturb. I leave you above the contacts of the guys from Cow. Let's look at some technical data together. The momentum starts from 5/16 centimeter 2 and reaches 9/16 centimeter 2, jumping 100 in 100. I tried the 19/16. The span of the smallest foil, 5/16, is 92.6. So we are already talking about a very important span for such a small forehead. It reaches up to 122 for the 9 was 16, the 19th century 16 that I used at 1/15 of SPAM. The spectratio remains unchanged for all dimensions. The weight? For the smallest wing, it is about 880 grams. For the largest wing, it is about 1.5 kilos. So let's say that in large sizes, the foil is quite heavy. The stabilizers recommended by F1 are 2 until the 19th century. 16, the 135 downwind XX.SE Lexus, 155 downwind for the 9/16. I'll tell you a little how it went in the water. So I tried it both in light wind with a ZO 530 in Alula, the Strike 45. I leave you the video above if you haven't seen it yet. And I went out really with little wind. I was definitely impressed with the IFT because this 800 allowed me to fly with little wind. But what happens? It shoots you out, but it's a foil that wants to be worked immediately because it responds very, very well. It is very sensitive to our legs, and it is right that it is, because I remind you that this is a foil that is born for downwind. What does that mean? Downwind means having a very long and narrow board and to form in the waves without the sail. So what's going on? This foil has been designed to respond to our legs and the force of the sea. It is a FOI that reacts well and is very fast in pumping, gliding, and the huge force it receives from the waves. But what happens if, in addition to the force of the sea, we also put a force at the top, therefore an engine, our sail? Well, it happens that the foil gets a little backed. Leave me this term because it's not as fast as you can expect from 1/800. I went faster with the 7 size, and it is a foil that to maneuver with the wing becomes a bit challenging and cumbersome. It is not his bread, of course, if we use it. On very long waves, where what we are interested in is making a surfing edge to go up to our point and then turn and be able to go down these waves in briefly, then we can really appreciate it there. It is obvious that to shoot it is not so maneuverable and it is not so immediate. It takes a little sensitivity. The foil is very responsive to everything we do with our legs, much less responsive to the force that the wing gives us. You can see that after a while it doesn't have any more, it packs up, and it also becomes a little less rigid. Because in my opinion, the tips of this foil are very soft, they are not so rigid, they flex a lot, and when we push a little on the board with the wing, we feel it a lot. We feel it just like a feeling of discomfort. But I repeat, these disadvantages, yes, they cannot even be called disadvantages because this foil is not born to go with the wing. It is born to go downwind. We can use it, and it is beautiful if we only see it in our downwind sessions with the foil. So I repeat, very long waves we go back because Bolina da Dio rises with little wind, and therefore this is an advantage for those conditions, after which we squirm and let ourselves go on a wonderful ride in free fly, where with our legs we can really make the most of its characteristics, and it is amazing how it has a forward thrust while we pump. The glide without doing anything is great, but there must be a push from below. That is, from the sea on the plate did not give me all this feeling of glide. Also because the surface, then all in all, is always 1/800. It's not that the rope is that big, but as soon as we work it with our legs, it is reborn. It acquires life and really speeds up, and we can really stand on it as much as we want. So making a recap, this foil definitely has a great lift even in the smallest sizes. So don't be afraid to go down because the lift is really exceptional. It has a great glide, a great pamping if worked in certain ways. Is not a foil definitely suitable for beginners. In maneuvering, it becomes a bit technical, especially in the wind, when we come out of turns or we are. In switch, it is not easy to keep control with the power of the wind. In gliding, it is easier to keep control in free fly. Let's say that for its size, F1 has created an agile foil for its size and for its type of foil. However, it remains an important wing to maneuver. The drawbacks is that if it is used as a regular foil, it is not an all-rounder foil. We don't have fun if we use it in flat water to go back and forth thinking we have a foil that gets up very, very early just because it has such a high span. And we can say we have under 800 centimeter 2 and glide at 10 knots. Yeah, all right, okay, you get up, but it's not that fun. It's not even like that. So fast and above all, it's not like that, but it's not true. But I repeat, it's not born for this. So there are disadvantages that I found because I wanted to force it to use it in the wing to see even if it has a range of use a little higher than that of the downwind, whether with the wing, whether without the wing, with the paddle. Obviously, for those who are good at using it in SUP downwind, chapeau, so much hat, but we are still talking about an already advanced intermediate level. I remind you that on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11-1-2-1-3 April, there will be the Wind Festival, and you will find there the momentum. And why not try it? I finally enjoyed seeing what was going on, and I learned so many things about the difference of various sheets. This really is an extreme to try. See you in the water to continue our tutorials, to continue our tests. Subscribe to the channel if you want special onboard tutorials like the one I leave you now for you is only a breakfast a month, but you allow me to create more and more quality content.
Today we are going to have a discussion about the topic.
This is quite strange, don't you think? Before,
We all carry out some preparatory exercises.
addressing the uncommon today.
Let's see the race give, which is a very important maneuver both in strong wind and light wind. So maybe at the beginning, try to do this maneuver in moderate winds Passica to change the handle. Obviously, little trick. I have to put the light edge in the direction of time so that the sail does not tear me away. If that doesn't work, let's establish control. This step is crucial. Subsequently, I managed to overcome the gust successfully.
Opla,
Now I have
the gripper with,
the palm facing the...
oh my God, I feel the same.
Let's start the weirdo.
Let's wait until it's time to turn the sail.
As long as we are together.
Almost after.
It's all right.
Very important. Shall we do the exercise again?
Shall we let go?
I dropped the sail. Have you seen okay then? I'm starting again. Anyway, let's see you at the Wind Festival. I'll be there and we can chat over a beer like good friends. And it's a way to not just see ourselves on the screen. See you at the Wind Festival. Stay wet, guys.